guys, welcome back to Cypress Steel Forge. Yeah, I was trying to do a casual thing, didn't really work out. This week we're going to be doing something really huge, and when I say huge, I mean the project is big, but also it's a pretty big deal for me. I've not made a bunch of these. The owner of the gun shop that we partnered with, You Are Reloading, said he would like to see some survival type knives. Something big, something people can carry into the woods and, I don't know, feel like they can tackle a bear or whatever it is survival people do for fun. I'm not real sure. But he wanted some machetes. No problem, yeah, we can do that. So, this week we're going to be working on something really, really huge. A huge machete. It's huge because your average big knife, like the Woodsman Bowie, it's got a 9-inch blade on it, and that's a big beefy blade, you know. So this thing, I haven't really worked out the dimensions. I kind of let the metal do its thing, especially for the first one. I can always, you know, remake something once I've made it once, but the first one, I just kind of let the metal decide what it's going to be. So, I'm thinking it's probably going to have somewhere in the neighborhood of an 18 to 24 inch blade on it. It'll have a solid full tang. We'll put some really good hardwood handles on there. Probably like a crepe myrtle, maybe some of that white oak. And for those of y'all that saw the sickle videos, that white oak is really amazing if you do it right. So having just learned that, I'm kind of eager to put that on more stuff. But you know, we'll see. I haven't planned it all out, just kind of winging it this week. We're gonna create this thing. I'm thinking kind of a traditional square topped machete, but we'll see. Like I said, it's all going to be on what the metal wants to do. We'll see where it goes, and let's just document the process. It's really more about what the metal wants to become. Let y'all see something in the beginning here. Now, this isn't ready to go, but this is what we're starting out with now. Usually I would start out with like a quarter of this. So this is going to be a big thing. That is a ton of heat coming on. So I'm going to stick that back in the forge. It's one of the first times I've actually had both burners of the forge going for one project. That thing's so long it needs the whole thing. So that's cool. It also gives me a chance. Went down to the flea market a couple of weeks ago and picked up a new big Bertha. It's a 5-pounder. Those who think 5 pounds ain't much, swing it for a couple hours and come talk to me. And so yeah, there's my new power hammer. You can see it's already got a nice flat face on it. This thing really moves some metal. And yeah, I'm gonna need it this week. Alright guys, so y'all seen me hitting stuff plenty, always in high speed. Today I thought I'd take a couple of minutes and let you see and understand why I do what I do. When I turn it upright like this and hit it down on the handle, what I'm doing is squishing the metal down so it gets longer. Cause the metal to bow in the middle a little bit, which is why you got to put it flat on the handle and tap it back flat. But doing that over and over again is going to just stretch that piece of metal out and get us the length. And I tell you, the biggest skill or talent or thing you have to learn in blacksmithing. I mean, sure, there's a lot to know, but the biggest thing is patience. it is easy to screw things up from being impatient. Heat is your best tool. If I don't let it get hot enough, I can break it, or even if, you know, if I'm working with mild steel or just get lucky and I don't break it, I'm still having to work exponentially harder than I should have to move the metal if it's not hot enough. And especially if you're trying to do forge welds, you gotta wait. When it looks like it's ready, give it another couple of minutes. You know, you can't overheat that thing unless you're about to go into the quench. Alright, that's a whole different skill set there. You gotta know what you're doing, but it's alright, you can learn it. But when it comes to time to forge it out, especially the rough forging, when you got a really thick piece of metal, give it time, really get it hot. Sit on your anvil, you know, play on your phone, read a book, whatever, but let that stuff get heated up properly before you go hammering on it. Another thing to note is that when I'm hammering it like that, y'all can see this metal is not straight or flat. You know, it's wonky because it's recycled metal. So what I'm going to do while I'm hammering on the top of it like that is I'm going to straighten that spine out. See, the more I do that, the straighter that spine becomes, and that's going to give me that nice straight spine and start lengthening it out. You can see the front of it's, you know, narrower than the bottom of it. I need to work base more. In case you're wondering, yeah, it weighs a ton. It is hard to hold with tongs. So while that's heating up, I wanted to share some exciting news with y'all. Made my first sale out of the gun shop. I know for a lot of people that's not a big deal, but hey, it's really cool. You know, things are moving on. I've hit 80 subscribers on YouTube. Again, not Mr. Beast, but I can't thank y'all enough, man. 80 people give a darn what I do. That's crazy. I'd have never thought 80 people on the whole planet give a darn about me. So, yeah, thank you guys. And if you're in this area, the Uari Skinner, y'all saw that one before, is what sold in the shop. Apparently, it was real popular, sold almost immediately. So I got 2 more of them getting glued up right now, the epoxy setting, and they should be in the shop. Trying to think of what today's date is. What is today? The 24th? They should be in the shop by the 25th, I think. As well as a new little pen knife. It's going to be real nice. It's the first time I've ever made a pen knife. So it's going to be epoxy and deer antler. So a nice little pen knife. If you're in the Richfield, North Carolina area, stop by Uari Reload and check them out. They got really great deals, and they offer my knives. Alright, we're just going to take a quick look to see where we're at. So we got about a 13-inch blade on there right now. Alright, we're moving along nicely. I'm kicking around the idea, and who knows, I might do it, I might not, I ain't decided yet. But kicking around the idea of making something like a giant Bowie machete with a clip point. Another important thing to remember if you're going to take up blacksmithing, especially if you're here in the South, take breaks, man. Cannot stress the importance enough. Drink water, take care of yourself. Days like today, it stormed last night. Now you'd think that would get rid of the humidity, but we're in North Carolina and somehow it gets worse. We literally have more than 100% humidity. I don't even know how that's possible. That doesn't seem like it should be, but it is, and it's pretty regular. So you get a day like today where it's only about 78 degrees right now, but I'm out here just soaked in sweat. So here directly, I'm probably going to go inside and take a little break for a while. The handles I glued up earlier, they're not setting. That humidity just really messes with the epoxy. It's supposed to be 5-minute epoxy. That stuff takes hours in this sort of humidity, so I'll probably end up working those handles this afternoon and then getting them to the gun shop. Once the glue sets, won't take long to get those handles done. Yeah, this machete's coming along. It's just going to be a bit of a process. I haven't shown you every hammer strike. I just kind of wanted to show you the basics of it. It's longer now than the last time I showed you, and we're going to start working the tip soon, but it'll probably be after a short break. So I hadn't quite made it inside yet, but I have made a discovery. The metal don't want to be a Bowie. It wants to be a Cutlass, which actually makes a lot of sense if you know anything about naval cutlasses. They were a direct descendant of the cavalry saber, basically mating with a machete. The naval officers would travel everywhere, they'd see the locals using machetes, recognize the advantage of the shorter, lighter blade for tight quarters combat on a ship, and the Cutlass was born. So, do here is just give it a Cutlass style blade and go from there. Alright guys, so the update, it's after lunch. Obviously I'm back out here working on the machete some more. Like I said beforehand, the steel just kind of decided on its own shape, which is, you know, something I really like when I'm working on something new. And this one really just started turning into a Cutlass. I thought it was going to be like a Bowie before, but yeah, it's definitely taking a Cutlass shape, which makes a lot of sense for a machete, because like I was explaining before, you know, I mean, a Cutlass was a derivative of a machete. When you know, sailors were going all over the world, they had their naval sabers, which were very similar to a cavalry saber. Usually 24 to you know, 36 inches long, depending on the person. You know, they were very long blades, and they're made for slashing off a horseback, and they just weren't ideal for the close quarters on a ship. So as they got to travel the world and you know, go to like the Americas, South America, the Caribbean, where the sugar cane was getting cut, they saw machetes, and it all just adapted. So, you know, they still had the hilt of the saber for easy fencing, but a shorter, lighter, a little bit wider blade for hacking. And yeah, Cutlass is born, and boy did it get infamous quick as, you know, the pirate's dog. So we're doing something very similar. We're just about to finish up with the rough forging of it. I want to show it to y'all again. We got about a 16-inch blade on there right now. We're working that a little bit more. See, it's a good bit longer than it used to be. The handle's been worked a little bit, and yeah, we're just finishing everything out. And one of the reasons we're finishing out is we're hitting a point I can barely lift that big hammer anymore. And that is one of the things about a big project like this is, while this hammer is super useful, I've gotten more done on this thing in a lot less time than I normally would. I can barely lift it now. So I'm going to set it aside, and we'll go back to my previous Big Bertha, the 3-pounder, which weirdly enough feels light now. And all we're going to do is finish up putting a little bit of curve to the tip and give it a little bit of rounding. And that's going to be it for today. It'll be ready to go to the grinder. But what we'll do is let it anneal overnight and get nice and soft. And then maybe tomorrow, if I'm not super busy, we'll start grinding it, because that one's going to take a lot of grinding. But I'm probably going to end the video on this. I just really wanted y'all to see the rough forging of it. Grinding looks like grinding, you know, just kind of trying to show y'all some different aspects of what I've been doing and how we do it. One of the other things you might notice is I'm not grabbing it by the end anymore. This is just for control. Tongs over top it like that, I keep it from jumping up on me so bad. Not that it won't at all, but I can cut out a lot of it. Anyway, we're going to do a quick measure, and I think we're going to need about one more heat just to tap it straight. So we got about a 16-inch blade on here, and as thick as it is, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Traditional machete runs anywhere from 10 to 28 inches. I think a 16 is pretty good for this one here. So I'm going to heat it up. We're just going to heat up that end where I've been hitting it. And I'll give it just a little bit more curve, and then we're going to tap it straight and call it a day. Alright guys, well that's going to be it. I'm pretty happy with the way it looks. It's got a nice little curve to it. The handle's set up to be comfortable. It's right about the right size. In case you're worrying, there's a good bit of distance between my hand and that metal, I promise you, and even with that kind of distance, it's hot. But yeah, that size, yeah, I think that handle will be just fine. It's got that little bit of curve to it that'll help slice through stuff. And yeah, she got a thick blade. So a lot of grinding to do, but that's going to be it for this one here. Y'all seen grinding. I'll post some pictures of the finished product. I'm probably going to do a nice little hickory handle or something like that on there. But thank y'all for watching. I appreciate all of you, and y'all take care.